Guys and gals, we are back for another one. As you can see, we've kind of upped the production a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. I'm also going to include some football stuff. So we'll get to some Dynasty news. We'll get to some Pandora news. That'll just kind of blend into some Legacy news. And here we go. Thanks for tuning in. Some key things that have happened in the Dynasty League since we left off, right, last Monday. The Rockets and the Knicks have come to a trade. The Rockets are going to get Julius Randle. He's a 26-year-old power forward. He's decent overall. He's going to be a good starter. He's good around the basket. He doesn't have a great three-point shot. He's a below-average defender, but he's very athletic, solid rebounder. He's somebody actually I thought the Suns could have gotten a few years ago. I really thought he would be a good piece for what we do here in Phoenix. But he's on his way to the Rockets, which we'll talk about here in a second. They also get Austin Rivers, 20-year point guard. Decent point guard. Just from what I know about Austin Rivers, he's above average playmaker in my opinion. I think he's good with the ball in his hands. He's a very good shooter. Decent defender, good inside scorer. The Knicks on the back end are going to receive Eric Gordon, 31-year-old shooting guard, making a lot of money. He's a good inside player. He is a shooter from the outside. Decent defender, athletic, getting a little bit older. Gerald Green, even older, 34 years old. And again, he's an average player. At the moment, he's got good athleticism. He's a good inside scorer. He is a decent shooter. He is also somebody who used to play here in Phoenix, had a huge following here while he was here. But it's kind of shaking up some things, right? With the Rockets are primarily James Harden's team, right? With what they've done. What I see them doing now is starting to surround him with players that can make some things happen, right? You get rid of a sharpshooter, a couple sharpshooters, you get rid of some athleticism, but you bring in a guy that can start at power forward and play the inside for things that James Harden just doesn't do very well, right? This is a great piece that can fit alongside him, and you also go get a point guard in Austin Rivers, who in my opinion, they now can do a lot of different things with a lot of guys having the ball in their hands. Does James Harden become a spot-up guy? Do they not let him take the ball down the court as much? It's a very interesting dynamic of what they've got going on with the Rockets. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. On the back end, I don't like this trade for the Knicks, especially in a league like Dynasty. I feel like the goal is to go out and try to win a championship. To me, this just kind of reeks of we don't believe that we're going to win. We're not a very good team right now. We've got a lot of rebuilding things to do. You take on a lot of cap for a lot of older players. It's not my favorite move for you guys. I see what you're doing realistically. Realistically, you're going, hey, we're going to stop doing what we're doing. We're going all in with younger talent. We're going to bring in some older, expiring deals to get rid of some of this stuff, and then we're going to go. I'm just not a big fan of what you're doing. And I mean, Eric Gordon has a lot of money over his contract. Like that's not a good contract. So I'm not a fan of what the Knicks did. I'm a big fan of what the Rockets are doing. I am questioning though, what does this mean for DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood? Two guys that play for the Rockets that play in the same position as Randle. Very interesting to see kind of what goes on there. Another trade that we saw was between the Heat and the Magic. The Heat get Aaron Gordon, who is a very good power forward. Played here in Arizona, not for the Suns, but at the University of Arizona. Huge dunker, lots of athleticism, decent defender, okay shooter. It's where he really needs to up his game a little bit. He's become a better shooter. They get Dwayne Bacon. Man, I love Bacon. He's a small forward. I don't know a lot about the player, but I love Crispy Bacon. He's a small forward, not making a lot of money, decent shooter, decent around the rim, decent athleticism, not a very good defender. But he's not going to be your world beater. He also ends up getting a 2021 Magic first-round unprotected pick and the Magic's 2021 second-round pick. On the back end, the Magic received Duncan Robinson. He's a 26-year-old shooting guard, making decent money this year, one-year deal. He's one of the league's best shooters right now. He is a defender. I don't know what that means, but we're going with it. My guess is that means he's very good. Overall, he's a very, very good shooter. He's lights out. He's not a very good defender, is what I'm guessing this is telling me, right? But he's an incredible shooter, and he's still decently young. He's 26 years old. They also get Kelly Olynyk, 29-year-old, decent center, good stretch shooter, above average rebounder, and a decent defender. Why are the Heat making the move? Is it to add salary? Is it they've got some things coming up in the offseason that they're seeing that just no one else is seeing? I understand what the Heat are doing. I take that back. I understand what the Heat are doing. The Magic, I'm not real strong. But the Heat, I see what they're doing. They're getting younger at power forward. They're getting an excellent power forward to come in. I love Aaron Gordon. I think he's a great player. Bacon, he's going to come in. He's going to do things they're going to do. But they also get some assets to build around. The Magic. We talked about them in our last podcast. I don't understand what the Magic are doing, right? You give up one of the best young power forwards in the game, right? It's not an easy position to go get. Guys that can play the position well. You build around athleticism, in my opinion. You build around guys that just have something other players don't. Aaron Gordon's a guy that has something other guys don't. Now, Duncan Robinson, decent player. He's a year older than what Aaron Gordon is, though, and all he can do is shoot. I don't understand what they're trying to do with this. The way that I see the Dynasty League playing, unless people start to make adjustments, to me, when I watch this, looks like an inside game. I don't see a lot of shooting out there. I don't see a lot of spot up. So unless the Magic just look at this and go, hey, we're going to do something different than what everybody else does so the guys don't defend me the same way, I get it. But when I look at how the good players in this league are winning games, what the Magic just did on paper, I don't understand. I don't get it. Leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think on this trade. Tell me what I'm not seeing. But just as the fan looking in, I don't understand what the Magic are doing. And if I was a Magic fan, I would be somebody that's upset. Another trade that happens is between the Mavericks and the Nets. The Maverick ends up getting Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a 27-year-old point guard. He, in my opinion, he's very good. It looks like he's going to be coming off the bench for Dallas. He's a good playmaker. He is a good shooter. Or he's a below-average shooter. My apologies. But he's very good around the rim, and he has a very high IQ. The dude's 83 overall. Like, let's just put it out there. It's a one-year deal. The dude's a very good point guard, especially to have a backup. And they also get Chris Chiozu. I think I said that right. He's 25 years old. He is another point guard. He is on a one-year deal. He is a better shooter. He is a good playmaker. He is not so good defensively. So they end up getting two point guards, two guys that can come in and pass the rock around. They end up giving up Jalen Brunson. He's a 24-year-old point guard. He's got a 2-year contract with an option to opt out this year for the team. His mid-range is his go-to shot. He is a very good playmaker. He's a solid shooter, average finisher, below average defender. The thing that I like about Jalen is he does have the ability to get better. He is still very young. I like that they have the option for the second-year deal. You get the guy that comes in. You see how he does. If he doesn't do well, you end up letting him walk or you trade him for something else. But I like that the team has a little bit of power in that one. The Mavericks on the back end, and they also end up getting rid of Dwight Powell, who is a 29-year-old, a guy that could start at the center or power forward position. He just gets hurt a lot. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Powell just doesn't stay healthy. Here's the thing. The Nets are trading one of the best bench players in all of basketball. Is their bench still good enough to keep up and help Kyrie and KD when they aren't on the floor? Did Dinwiddie say he was going to walk into free agency anyway, so they got the best offer and they took it? Those are the things that I kind of look at what the Nets are doing and go, hey, why did you end up giving up these guys? They do have a plethora of talent out in New Jersey, so I can kind of see where they're going, hey, we can get rid of some of these guys. But, I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a good player. I mean, and the guys you are getting back are not the best players per se. I mean, you're getting back the oldest guy of the group, with Powell being 29, also hurt all the time. Is Brunson good enough to be that backup point guard for you? It's something that we're going to see. So it's interesting what the Nets are doing. I think offensively their starters are probably good enough to beat anybody. But seeing what they're doing on the back end, that's very interesting. I'm interested to see what their bench is going to look like now that they've got rid of one of the best bench players in the league. Having said that, the Mavericks have found the third star that they're looking for. Can Dinwiddie be that guy? Can he come in and be the 83 overall point guard that he is on paper and do some damage? Can he run that offense? Does it make the Maverick a threat in the West? I know a lot of people are going to look at it and go like, yo, I mean, it's Spencer Dinwiddie. Does he make them a threat? It all has to play on the court. Just like football, I know football more than I know basketball, but just like football, when you get guys that fit your scheme, you play better. If Spencer Dinwiddie at 83 overall is a guy that just fits that scheme better, he could go in and be a superstar. I firmly believe. But it's all about how does he fit into that offense and defense. Jazz and Pacers also had a big-time trade, right? The Jazz end up receiving. Now, it's a bigger one, okay? And I'm going to get some of these wrong. Bear with me. Miles Turner ends up going to the Jazz. He's a 24-year-old center. He's making $54 million over the next 3 years. He's a very good shot blocker. He is decent at shooting. He is an average inside scorer. They get Edmund Sumner, a 24-year-old shooting guard, making $2 million this year. Good inside scoring, decent mid-range shooter, super athletic. They get Cassius Stanley, a 21-year-old, 69 overall rookie shooting guard on his rookie deal. He's got some great athleticism. He's a good inside scorer, decent shooter, below average defender, but he has the potential to be good when used in the right system. They also get a 2021 second-round pick via the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers end up receiving Davis Bertan, a 28-year-old, 79 overall power forward, making $80 million over the next 5 years. He is a great shooter, decent at the mid-range, and that's about it. He can shoot. You give to him, he's going to put it up. They get Joe Ingles, an over-the-hill, 79 overall small forward, 33 years old, making $23 million over the next 2 years. Again, another great shooter, decent defender, no athleticism at all. They get Nigel Williams-Goss, a 26-year-old, 69 overall shooting guard, making $1.5 million this year. Good shooter, solid playmaker, solid defender. With this move, what's the ceiling for the Jazz with all the assets and the young superstar Mitchell? Here's the thing. I like Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner is by far the best asset that went through this trade based on his overall, based on how good he can get being only 24 years old. I also am a big fan of Cassius Stanley. After going through and looking at who he can be, I think the guy can turn into something. So that was a guy I really liked. The Pacers end up getting back a bunch of old crap. Again, when I watch these games, I see a lot of athleticism. I see a lot of guys trying to drive through the hole to kind of get inside to score. I just don't see guys shooting all that much. So going and getting all these shooters, while good on paper, I'm not sure how good that's going to be when you have the teams that you have. I don't see it working that way. It's not how I would build my team. I would go with more of the athleticism. See if I can get guys that can shoot and go from there. But to me, the Jazz absolutely killed this trade. Not only did they get the best player in this trade, they ended up getting who I think has the guy that has the most potential in the trade, and they got an extra pick. Like when you look at this on paper, they got a 24-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 2021 pick. While they got better to compete in the West, and the Pacers ended up receiving a 28-year-old power forward who is on a hell of a deal. They get Ingles, who's 33-year-old, and he's got 2 years left on what I would consider a mad deal. And they get Goss, who's 26-year-old. He's not going to get much better. We'll kind of see where they go from here. I'm also interested to see what the Jazz are going to do with the picks that they've got coming up. They have 4 picks in this draft, 2 firsts of their own. They have 2 firsts, the Wizards top 5, the Warriors, and the Bucks second. So I'm really interested to see what they do with their picks in this draft coming up. Can Donovan Mitchell and Miles Turner work? I believe they can. Donovan Mitchell is an incredible shooter. If Turner's playing the center spot, I don't see a reason why that can't happen. They're just going to have to make sure that they If it doesn't look like it's working, you're going to have to adjust, bring some pieces off the bench, and get him playing at separate times. No matter what, it should be able to work on paper. I don't like this for the Pacers. It's not my favorite move for them. I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on it. I would have asked for a little bit more. But again, that's just me. Getting into some news and rumors. Can the Lakers do it again? Are the Lakers good enough right now to beat any team with ease? The Lakers in the offseason, they added a star-powered team. They added to the star-powered team in adding two of the best bench players in basketball with Montrezl Harrell, who was the Sixth Man of the Year runner-up, and Dennis Schroeder. Can the Lakers do it again? Without reading it off paper and just giving my own opinion, there's no reason the Lakers should not win another championship. LeBron James is the best player in basketball. When he is on his game and when he is full go, there is not one player in the NBA that does the things that LeBron James does. I grew up with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, to me, is the greatest basketball player of all time. If he is one-on-one with anybody, and you ask me, who's winning? It's Michael Jordan. But if you had me build a team and say, you have to pick one guy, who are you going to build a team around? I, personally, would pick LeBron James. That doesn't mean LeBron is a better player than Michael. I think Michael could beat him one-on-one. But LeBron is arguably the best team basketball player that's ever existed. He is the guy that when he puts on sneakers, nobody else can match up to that. So with that, you add in a guy like Anthony Davis. You add in these other guys like Harrell and Schroeder. Yeah, the Lakers should be able to compete with anybody on any court. And when LeBron regresses, because that's the next one, well, LeBron's 36. Who cares? LeBron could be 45, and he's still going to put up 30 and 10. That's just how the dude is built. I mean, unless he starts blowing out body parts and he's not able to do it anymore, if he can stand and he can do this, he can put up 30 and 10 at ease, right? I just don't see it. I don't see any regression coming from LeBron. Is Kawhi Leonard happy? Could this be his last season with the Clippers? Kawhi has an out that he has said that if he's healthy, he is likely going to take. Does that mean that he leaves LA? Maybe. Kawhi is wired different. There's not one person that I know of that can look at Kawhi Leonard and go, I know what he's going to do. I don't. I have no idea what Kawhi Leonard is going to do. I don't even think Kawhi Leonard knows what Kawhi Leonard is going to do. I think Kawhi Leonard's waiting for everybody else to be like, this is what he's doing. Be like, ha, 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 watch this. I'm going to do the exact opposite. So could Kawhi go to another team? Yeah. Where could he go? Somewhere obscure. My guess is he likes to stay West Coast, which means he probably goes East Coast. So I have absolutely no idea where Kawhi is going to go, but I would not be shocked now if he ended up leaving the Clippers. The Boston Celtics, they are shopping Kemba Walker for a center. Reports broke out that the Boston Celtics are actively shopping Kemba Walker in hopes to bring a big man down into the paint. Jason Tatum might be that guy for them. He grew up to 6'10" this offseason, and he gained 15 pounds of muscle. Is he an NBA caliber player yet? I mean, he's 22 years old. He's like 91 overall. He's making a ton of money. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you're asking me, does Jason Tatum have it in him to go be an MVP? Yeah, he does. He's a very good player. And he's getting bigger. He's getting stronger. He's getting smarter. Those are the kind of guys that go for MVPs. Rock on, Jason Tatum. Can the Boston Celtics get to the finals? Why not? Boston has everything in its building to go out there and win games. It's arguably one of the best teams in the NBA right now. Boston has a point guard in Kemba. They have a monster in Tatum. And as they continue to build, they're building it with pieces that fit around those two guys really well. So I don't see any reason why the Boston Celtics should have some drop-off or just not be very good unless the user that's using them just doesn't play them very well. And that happens. I have the Cardinals, and I don't play them very well, so rock on. Giannis, $260 million over the next 6 years. Giannis has signed his Supermax And this is what he had to say. This is my home. This is my city. I am blessed to be a part of the Milwaukee Bucks for the next 5 years. Let's make these years count. The show goes on. Let's get it. They also put pieces around him. They got him Drew Holiday, who is a great shooter. They got him Chris Middleton, who is an above average to good or just below great small forward. Are they going to stay there, though? When you make a move to sign Giannis to the deal that he has, you got Drew for the 1 year at $26 million this year. And you got Middleton for 3 years. Now, he's only 29. He still can get traded. My guess is that is something that they end up doing. But you did whatever you had to do to keep Giannis. And I think that was the thing that when you looked at what you had to do, you had to get him signed and you had to get him comfortable before that happened. Getting him those pieces obviously got him comfortable. Being able to keep those pieces is another story, but at least you got him in the building and he got that bag for another 5 years. Getting into my favorite story of Dynasty so far. The Twitter beef that we are seeing on a daily basis. Guys, if you are missing this, you need to go check it out. I know a lot of you were complaining that the Twitter was adding everyone, so we changed that to just at the people in those leagues. But if you are missing out, what's going on Twitter in the NBA 2K Dynasty League, you're missing a show. These guys are going at it. They are talking trash. They're being respectful without going over the line, but you can just see, man, they've got those jabs flying. I love seeing it. The Raptors and the Magic have been on some beef right now, and it all started after the Raptors win against Dallas. From there, the Celtics ended up jumping into the picture. The Thunder jumped into the picture. The Bucks have jumped into the picture. All these different teams are going. The Celtics posted a picture of Terrence Davis dressed up like a clown after beating the Thunder and holding him to 11 points. Called him a clown. They called him overrated. The Raptors commented a GIF of Jim Carrey smiling. The Mavericks ended up replying, "Do you think you're the GM of the year?" And the Raptors replied with another GIF of Snoop Dogg saying, "For show." The Bucks commented on the Raptors for show with a cap, like a big old one, saying that you're lying. The Raptors made fun of the Bucks for not having salary. The Bucks clapped back with a Giannis statement, 2-time MVP, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year. The Raptors replied, "That's cute," with Kyle Lowry holding a trophy. The Celtics came back and said, "Talk to me when you're 17," and the Raptors replied, "Talk to me when you beat me." It's been epic, and I hope it doesn't stop. I love seeing what these guys are doing. I love seeing the energy that they're having on Twitter. It's been phenomenal to watch, and my guess is it only gets better from here. Kudos to those guys out on Twitter. I love seeing it. Keep doing your thing, man, and we'll keep showcasing it to the league. And if you're missing out, I don't know what to tell you. I've done everything I can to show you guys that this is probably one of the coolest things going on in SPA at the moment. I really encourage you to check that out. Let's get into the Hornets. The Hornets are fun, but are they good? LaMelo Ball is a 77-year-old, 6'7" rookie point guard who, I mean, he's no longer a rookie. Or, I mean, he is a rookie. I'm sorry, wrong ball. He is a rookie. Going to a team that's going to be exciting to watch. Are people going to want to watch him play? Can LaMelo make this team a playoff team? It's going to take some work. I think when LaMelo sees a few years, he can be good. I also want to see how much his dad kind of stays out of it. We saw what happened with Lonzo. Those Ball brothers are just kind of built differently because dad's built differently. Will he allow LaMelo to be his own player, develop his own persona, and do his own thing? Because to me, that builds success. Look at wrestling. Wrestling's a great example. When you see these guys nowadays, you can tell that they're a character. You can watch what they're doing and be like, this does not look authentic. It's not fun to watch. You guys are all fake. If I were to put you up against the guys that were growing up in my generation, the Goldbergs, the Kevin Nashes, the Scott Halls, the Scott Steiners, these big guys, you know, if the Rocks, the Triple H's, powerhouses. If we were to put the guys today against the guys in yesteryear together, the guy in yesteryears would eat them alive. And the reason that I believe that is because those guys were authentic. That's who they were. Goldberg really was crazy. He really was like a gnarly dude on the football field. That's how he played football. So he just tapped into who he was. LaMelo, to me, and the Ball brothers are all very similar. I don't think Lonzo or LaMelo become the players that they are truly meant to become until they quit trying to be something they're not with what dad's got in there, and they just decide they're going to be who they want to be. Once they decide that's who they're going to do, I think LaMelo becomes an instant superstar. I think he's got all the capabilities to be a great player, but I think it's going to take some time. Can D'Lo and Karl Anthony Towns work? Yeah, I think they can work. Karl Anthony Towns is one of the most frustrating players in the league for me in real life because the dude should be winning consistently into the playoffs, and it just doesn't seem like he has that leadership quality in him. He's definitely somebody that follows the pack. So if D'Angelo Russell can go in there and he can really get Cat going, then yeah, I think they can do something big. But he's got to figure out how to become that guy. They have one of the most intriguing rosters in sports. They have a ton of young talent. They've got contracts. They should be able to make a spar if they wanted to. I'm sure they'd like to go get Devin Booker. I don't think the Suns are ever going to make him available. But they've got to step it up. They've got to become those next players. Like when you have tiers, you have the best, you have superstars, you have above average players, so on and so forth. Right now, Karl Anthony Towns is a very good player who should be one of the greats at the moment. He just has to take that next step. Is San Antonio going young? Reports have surfaced that DeMar DeRozan, who has 1 year left on his deal, and LaMarcus Aldridge are being shopped around. If that happens, if both those guys are gone, to me this is Pop's last year. I don't see Popovich going for another season, going for a rebuild. I think this was his last kind of go around. So if they're truly going young, I think Pop is done, at least in San Antonio. Is he done for good? Could he go to other contenders? Maybe. I don't think he's signing up for a rebuild, though. The Cavaliers, are they good without LeBron James? The Cavs gotten off to a hot start. They were not a team anybody had being at the top of the Eastern Conference, but when you go look at their stats, there they are. Can they keep their success throughout the season, or will the youth get to the best of them? That's going to be something we're going to have to watch going forward. LeBron is a transcendent player. When you lose LeBron, you lose a lot. Will it be enough that they're able to kind of turn it around and go in a new direction? Maybe. I don't know enough about where the Lakers are at. That's a good question for me. I'm going to have to do some research. I'll tell you this. You don't lose a guy like LeBron and get better. With LeBron, they were great. Can they still be good? Sure. But the NBA, to me, you need star players. Very good players are just not going to win you a championship. Championships are won with great players that play great basketball. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to win more championships, you're going to have to go get some bodies. Guys, that was it for the Dynasty League. After this commercial break, we're going to get into some Pandora and some Legacy. Don't leave. I'll see you around the break. Guys, welcome back. If you haven't had a chance to check out Dynasty, I highly encourage you guys to go do that. Huge shout out to Brandon for sending me all these notes for things to talk to throughout the week. It's an incredible job that he does. If I could just show you guys some of the things that we do, it would blow some of your minds. Huge shout out to what he's been doing to kind of get me the info, to really highlight the things that they want me to highlight. Shout out to you, Brandon. Shout out to all the commissioners over there, Cookie, Josh Jacob. If you want me to be honest, in my opinion, I think the commissioners team over for NBA Dynasty is probably humming right now better than any league that we've got. They are constantly talking in that chat. They are always going over ideas. It is incredible to kind of see the work that they're doing, so huge shout out for them. If you're looking for an NBA 2K league, not just a group of guys that get on and just play randomly, or like do these people a real league, check these guys out. Getting into football. Football for the Madden community has been around since day one. This is how we started. So it's good to kind of incorporate what we've been doing over there with what's going on in Dynasty. But what I'm going to do different is, rather than break down stats, rather than go in and be like, yo, Trey's dominating everybody in Pandora at 14-0. Teddy Bridgewater is having one of the best seasons ever. He's first in points on offense and defense. I could go through all of these stats and come up with things to talk about. But that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to sit here and just break down stats. I'd like to more sit down and break down some of the things that I see and give a real honest perspective. Now, a lot of you guys that have been with us for a while remember the Fit and Commish show, which then became the Commish's Corner. And that was where me and Fit would sit down and we would break down our thoughts on certain things. And Fit did a great job of breaking down stats. And I believe that he's going to be doing a show where he's going to do a lot of things that are similar that he enjoys like that. So that's coming. But we also spent a lot of time going over some real raw scenarios or situations that were happening and kind of gave our opinions on them. And throughout the last year, I think I've kind of noticed some changes where I look at it and go, well, why is that? For instance, one of the things that got brought forward recently was, should we start letting everybody know why people were consequenced and not just put there was a consequence, and we not make it a secret? I don't know when we ever stopped doing that. When we used to have the show Fit and Commish, we were breaking news on stuff. Like, we were putting people on blast right from the very get-go. And if our opinion was, if you didn't want to be put on blast, don't break the rules, you know? So when I start hearing some of that kind of stuff, it puts me back to a place to go, well, where did we go different, or where did things start changing where that idea is now in people's mind? And are there other things that have begun changing? So what I wanted to do with this show is I wanted to look at some of the little things that get thrown my way. And I've got a bulletin board of them written down, but I wanted to get into my top ones. And the top ones for this week was, is Pandora a B league? Right? That's something that I think gets thrown around a lot. That Legacy is the A league and Pandora is the B league. Or one is here and the other is here. Is that on screen? Here and here. That's something that really bothers me. When we first started the idea of doing Pandora, the idea was that there was no A league or B league. It was SPA was going to have two leagues. Like, we were going to have the same rules. One was going to have abilities on, one was going to have abilities off. But other than that aspect, they're both getting the SPA treatment of the off season, the rules, the reps, the commissioner's team, the whole caboodle. So when I get people coming in here being like, well, Legacy was the OG league, so the B league is Pandora, I kind of look back at the users. Maybe as a community, we haven't done a good enough job to really showcase what Pandora is about. When we first started, and I also think that because Legacy has so many core members and Pandora has all these new members, people kind of look at it and go, well, everybody that was core is over there, so that's where all they care is about. But I need you guys to understand the history of MSPA. MSPA started from a league called MDFL. MDFL was run by a guy named Tom Bishop, who is a dear friend of mine. I've got a lot of love for Tom. He ended up shutting the league down. 8 people ended up getting together, They asked me to join, and I said no. They asked Brian to join, who a lot of you just saw playing as Dallas in the playoffs. He ended up saying yes, and then convinced me to come along. We, as the 9 of us, came up with the original rule set from back in the day. They asked me to be the commissioner of it, and I didn't want to do it. Originally told them I won't do it unless there's a system beneath that spot that holds the power. Like, as the commissioner, I didn't want any power. I didn't want to. We had just come from what a lot of people said was a commissioner with too much power, and I wanted to go into a completely different route. And I was like, I don't want any power. I'll be the tying vote. If there is a tie, I'll be the one that breaks that. And that's where MSPA kind of grew. And from there, those 8 members really worked with the people in their divisions for all 8 divisions, and we just kind of grew the base of what MSPA was, with what we felt Sim was going to be. And after a few years, we had a very, very solid base of users that viewed things in a very same way. It got so big that we ended up saying there's enough people here that want to either do a second league or that are on our waiting list that we could legitimately open up another league and kind of go. And at first, the idea was a development league where some of our not so great users had a place that they could play, but then we would pull from that roster or that league as we started losing guys in MSPA, and they would just get brought up. And we tossed that idea around for 6 months to a year on how we were going to do it. And after reaching out to a lot of different commissioners, it just kind of hit me that developmental leagues are there to not be taken care of in a way that people really buy in. We weren't going to see as many people wanting to do articles or podcasts or these different things. We weren't going to see it. So when I got that feedback back, I was like, well, then I don't want to do a developmental league. If we're going to do another league, let's just do another league. Let's do a full-blown SPA league. And we started bringing in users. We started having a lot of guys switch over. We started doing all these different things. But over the span of Pandora's life, I think a lot of its users look over at Legacy and go, well, that was the original league. Legacy used to be MSPA, so now Legacy is the OG league. But here's the thing, guys. Pandora is going to be whatever we make it. If we, the users, sit here and go, yeah, we see a difference, there's going to be a difference, right? But if we notice that there's a difference and we do something about it, then there won't be. So one of the things that I did was I reached out to Grimy, who plays as Arizona in Pandora. I was like, yo, Grimy, would you be interested in switching with me every single Madden? Because if the commissioner is like, yo, I'll go play in Pandora, then nobody should be looking at Pandora and going, that's the B League, because even Mo is wanting to come over here and play. And I'm willing to do that. But I want to do that with a group of guys and girl with Moni that look at that league and say, we're going to do everything we can to shape this up to be the best league possible. Like when NBA2K hit off, the Dynasty League hit off, and we had a group over there running. It went okay. Those guys did a decent job. And I don't want to take anything away from them because they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. It was totally uncharted territory. Even I didn't know. We didn't have the website for their stats. There wasn't different things we could pull. There wasn't this huge NBA 2K franchise community out there that there was for like the Madden community where we could get all these different ideas and go. It was totally uncharted. There's not really a lot out there like this. Let's just kind of go. And so they got something going. They encountered a lot of problems along the way. They adjusted. They kind of went. But I think all of us looked at it and said, yo, this isn't going the way that we all anticipated going. So Cookie and the team there now, Josh Jacob and Brandon, they looked at that and said, let's take what we learned before and let's kind of go forward. And now the NBA League is thriving. And to me, that's what Pandora needs to do. The users over there, if they want to see all of these shows and podcasts and all of these different things that are coming to Pandora that make it look like the best league that SPA has, well, you guys have the ability to do that. Just like Legacy, if you want me to be honest with you, I think at the moment that NBA 2K is probably the league that's doing the most work at the moment. When you look at, or is even the most enjoyable at the moment, when you go look at what they're doing, they're actively doing things every day to make that the best place to be, and you can feel that. Like when you go into those chats in the commissioner's chat, the only reason the show is even here right now is because I felt the energy they were putting out. I want to be a part of that, and I really, really encourage the users in both Pandora and Legacy to kind of get back into that kind of frame of mind, because without it, I believe that we're doing a disservice for what SPA is supposed to be on the field. So no, I don't believe that Pandora is the B League. I think that a lot of people look at Pandora as the B League because of the history of SPA. And I'm not really sure that they know what the future goals are. So that's going to be something that we kind of get into. What is SPA supposed to be? Have we begun to lose our way? And those will be coming to you right after this break. Guys, welcome back. Getting into these last few segments for this show, I really wanted to get into what is SPA supposed to be, and I think we all saw a great example of that the other day. When Chef got onto the chat and he expressed that, yo, somebody stole my daughter's packages, she's not gonna have the presents that we thought, sucks, we just don't have the money to replace it. The community jumped in. And hundreds of dollars were sent to Chef's Way. I don't want to break into what they got. I do want everybody to know that his daughter, I believe her name is Davina. I didn't get a chance to check, but that's just off memory. If I said that wrong, Chef, I apologize. Don't murder me. But the community did a great job to raise enough that she's going to have an amazing Christmas. So a shout out to all of you guys for being a part of that. But that to me is what SPA is all about. When people ask me what's the foundation for what you guys do, and when I ask that to other commissioners, a lot of the foundations that I get back are, well, we believe sim is this way. We believe sim is this way. And that's not what SPA has ever been about. Like, we have our own definition of sim. We do the things that we view as being the best things to do to get the game to play like it's played on Sundays. That's what SPA is good at. But what we are known for is being a community of people that don't feel alone, of people that feel like they can be themselves and they're not going to be ostracized for it. There's not these little groups and these little cliques and these little things that you're just not allowed to be part of this group. There's like this upper echelon. You're not allowed to be friends with the commissioner. You're not allowed to be friends with the reps or all these things. It's just, SPA has never been about that. SPA has always been about the community, about the love that we have for each other, about being able to have a place that we can call our gaming home. And it's not about the game that we play. Like, if Madden ceased to exist, I don't believe that the community would cease to exist. I believe that we would find games to keep playing together. I think that this group of people, they just like gaming together, and they've liked gaming together for a long time. Madden just happens to be the thing that we play. So when I start watching a lot of these games and I see a lot of these guys getting frustrated, and I see a lot of people wanting to quit because Madden sucks and I'm out of here, just take me out of the server, or this game is broken, I can't do this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We all have triggers, right? Everybody has a trigger in some form. One of mine is when I get the feedback of, this game is broken, I don't want to play it anymore. Or this, it always makes my opponent win. I don't do this. We all play the same game, guys. We all play with the same sliders. We all play the same crap. We all know that the game's broken. We all bought the game knowing it was broken. We bought it knowing that it wasn't gonna play right. Like, that's anybody that went into this game going, yo, this will be the one that's finally fixed in every stage. I'm never gonna have an issue. You lied to yourself, and the reason you're mad is you. But for what SPA is, and the reason I think we're starting to lose our way, is I think when we built Pandora, a lot of people wanted to come in because they liked the competition. Trey's a very good player. Nick is a very good player. Kush is a very good player. Lampart's a very good player. So on and so forth. If I didn't say your name, it's not because I forgot about you. It's just because there's a lot of you. There's a lot of good talent here in SPA. And a lot of these talented users from other leagues saw what we were doing. They're like, yo, not only is that sim, but I keep hearing they've got great talent. So they came over and they wanted to test their skill and they wanted to do this. And I think what happened was we started to have this influx of people coming in that were here more for the competition than they were here for what SPA was really about. And that doesn't mean, and a lot of them are still here. A lot of you listening to this podcast are probably looking yourselves in the mirror and like, yeah, I came in because I wanted to play against the best. I wanted to see what this was all about. I wanted to test my skill. But that can't be at the end of the day what it's about, because if that's what it's about, as you start losing games, because you will, you're going to get frustrated. And when those frustrations come out, you end up quitting, because you're here not to be a part of the community. You're here because you wanted to test your skill and you wanted to win. And that's not the SPA way. The SPA way is about sim over win, playing as simulation as you possibly can, as realistically as you can. And if you lose, you lose. And if you win, you win. And your win is, hey, good game, good luck the rest of the way. I'm rooting for you. Is there any advice you need? Is there anything that you saw from me that you want some feedback on? That's how you win. And how you lose is, damn, I didn't play good enough this game. I didn't account for some of the things that didn't go my way. The ball didn't bounce my way a couple times, and I need to do a better job of getting that. My players weren't playing good enough. Fuck, I got to do a better job. I got to spend more time in practice. I got to get things. Let me ask some questions. Maybe this guy has some answers for me, and I can start getting better. That's how you lose. You don't lose by going like, yo, this game is rigged. It's always against me. I hate playing this. Because when you do that, you take all the accountability that you should be putting back on yourself away. And when you can't be accountable to yourself and everything is somebody else's fault, you're going to be frustrated. And that's not just a lesson in Madden, that's a lesson for life. When you do things and you find yourself in situations where you are frustrated, stop looking at everybody else or everything else around you and blaming them. Stop getting into a game of Madden and losing by 20 and leaving the community or leaving your team because you're just so mad that the game didn't work around you. You're the one that chooses to play this game. You're the one that came into the league knowing that there was a lot of skilled players here. You are the one that are putting yourself in a situation to feel the way that you're feeling. So you are choosing to do that. You are choosing to feel the way that you feel. But because of that, if you look at it that way, you can also be the one that chooses not to get upset over it. Right? With my own life, I can't talk about all of you. I know a lot of you watch my streams. I know a lot of you have seen me get mad and lose my mind. I'm not sitting here telling you, don't get mad in your streams. I reached out to Lampard a few weeks ago about how mad he was getting in his streams, and his response is, we all get mad. We all get mad. I agree with you. And I was even getting on Lampard for getting mad. We all get mad. Go watch any one of my streams where I'm losing games, and you can see that I get mad. The difference between what I do and what a lot of our members or former members do is once that game's over, I know that I have chemicals going off in my brain where I'm mad. That's all being mad is. All emotions is a chemical reaction in your brain that help you feel some way. And if you recognize that that's all emotions are, that means as soon as I figure out ways to make different chemicals in my brain and start thinking about different things to get those built up, I can combat the stuff already going on. So I turn the game off, I get mad, fuck, yeah, worst game ever, I hate this game. And then I go play with my kids, right? Because my kids give me that other feeling of not feeling so frustrated. And then I come right back and I don't want to quit, I don't want to do any things. But I know that's how I'm wired. A lot of you need to figure that out as well. You need to figure out what it is that you're getting frustrated on, what it is that you seem to be like, yo, this is ticking me off to a place that I'm losing control. And then once you figure out what that is, it's not about stopping doing that. It's about when that time comes up and you start getting frustrated again, you figure out how to calm yourself down so you stop making yourself look like an ass to the rest of the league. Because when you start complaining about the game and you start doing this to a lot of level-headed people, they're all going to look at you and be like, bro, I play the same game. I do the same thing. I encounter the same things you are. You're just losing your mind. And that's not what SPA is about. SPA has never been about the competition. It has never been about wanting to be the best here no matter what. It has always been about being able to be you in a very tight-knit group of people that are willing to bring you into that group, but they all want to see you play in a way that looks sim and feels fun. And when people are losing their minds and they just can't handle all of it, it takes the fun out of it. It's just something to look yourself in the mirror when this is all done and figure out who you are in this community and who you can be to help us get to the next stage of where we're going. And where are we going? That's a question that got asked me twice this week. Hey Mo, where do you see us growing? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't really want to grow anymore. I think I caught a little bit of that bug early on, where once I saw what the rest of the community was doing, I was like, yo, MSR has this amazing podcast set up. And they do. If you guys haven't checked out what MSR is doing over there, their content is what I would consider the best content that's out for any kind of Madden. It is phenomenal. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I think we can do something like that. And then I saw what Kush was, and I was like, yeah, I could do something like that. And I got my stream set up. I'm doing those things. So I see all that, and I got this big urge to build and go further and do these things. But where I'm at now, I do feel like SPA over the last year has kind of lost its way a little bit. And if you asked me, Mo, would you rather keep doing what you're doing and continue to grow and continue to lose your way, or would you rather just take a step back and allow SPA to go back to being SPA and go back to the dark corner of our internet where our shows are just for us and our stuff is just for us and we just have fun doing it, and that's what it's about? That's where I want to be. That's why this show even exists. I'm not doing this show because somebody's paying me for it. I'm not doing this show because somebody is begging me to do it. I'm not doing it because I want to be the best podcaster out there. I couldn't care less. I'm doing it because this is how I know to tap into the community. And this is how I know to let my voice be heard without feeling like I have to do it. This is fun for me. I like doing these podcasts. I like diving into this. But I will tell you, if you ask the head of the community or one of the heads of the community what my personal goal is for us, my personal goal for us is to get us back to feeling like SPA, not just off the field like where we saw with Chef the other day. That is SPA off the field. That's never gone anywhere. I would love to see SPA get back to where it's supposed to be, on the field. And with that, guys, that is our show for today. Next week, I will be live. I believe that Fit is going to have a show coming up this week where he'll break down some of the NBA stuff. He'll get into some stats or whatever he wants to do for the leagues. Enjoy Legacy, Pandora. Check out Dynasty. Best league that we got going right now. Guys, I'll see you next week.